say at this point in turning the page, but just some of your thoughts on studying film on UMass.
Yeah, this is even weirder doing it after Tuesday practice, talking about UMass. But I mean, some good, some bad. Our players give good effort all the time, and that's what's been positive. You know, sometimes it's sloppy, and we've got to continue to improve upon that. Like I said to you guys, Florida in some ways was like an opening game because we had played such two non-traditional offenses the first 2 weeks that I expected some improvement, and I'm not sure. In our style of play, we got some improvement, but there's still like a lot of sloppy play. The things that were positive, you know, I thought the play of Rashawn Golden continues to be, you know, really high level football. Colton Jumper had 2.5 sacks or 3.5 tackles for loss or something like that, and to get 7 sacks in any game, you know, that's really hard to do. We need to do a better job creating takeaways. We need to do a better job on 3rd and short. You know, we did have, you know, we've done a good job when we've gotten teams to 3rd and 7 or more, and that's been positive too. So there's a win. You know, and, you know, candidly, I was really excited at the end of the game when we were on the field to finish the game. You know, I thought, you know, it's, you know, when you fall off a horse, you know, got to get right back on, or, you know, things like that. Or so for us to be out in that situation again and then have an opportunity to drive the field to tie or win the game, and for us to get a 4 and out, I thought was a confidence builder for our guys. And UMass, let's give them credit. You know, I think they played really hard, and you know, I reminded Coach today, we talked about it, the week before we played South Carolina last year, they went down to South Carolina, lost by 6. They lost to Mississippi State by 12, and were winning at the half last year. So these guys have been in big environments, and I give Coach Whipple and I give their players and their staff a lot of credit.
Bob, how much do you feel like your secondary has been tested vertically to this point?
Yeah, that's a little scary, you know, coming into this game, because I think this team has really tall and fast wide receivers. You know, they have 3 guys who average over 20 yards a catch. You know, Ridley, Mims, and Godwin, and they're really good players. And Fromm sure doesn't look like a freshman. You know, I think he's a very talented player. Nada can get deep too. So, you know, if you're out, you know, we anticipate them trying to throw the ball deep on us. You know, they have as much depth at running back as any team I've ever seen. You know, they could throw Chubb, Sony Michel, Harrison Holyfield, and the freshman DeAndre Swift out there and barely skip a beat. And they've tried creative ways to get 2 and sometimes even 3 of those guys in the game at the same time. So you've got to be able to stop the run, and I think Coach Chaney does a good job, you know, when you put too many guys in the box trying to throw it over your head.
How do you slow down Isaac Nada, the tight end?
Yeah, I know who he is. Well, it's hard because it's funny that you say that. I was watching a play on film today where he caught a ball down the seam, and I was sitting there going, wow, they have so many weapons. I mean, you know, so I mean, you know, we have, you know, if we're in some type of man concept, it'll probably be Micah or Nigel on him in some way. If we're in zone concepts, we're very aware of where he is. But a lot of his catches come, you know, he caught a long pass the other day on a kind of a short yardage play where he faked like he was stock blocking and went deep, and caught another ball on a seam pass. He caught a long one on us on a seam pass last year. So being aware of where he is, and we haven't tailored our defense in an attempt to defend him, but he is a very, very good player. He's one of the top tight ends now.
Your linebackers right now, is Jumper and Barry, is that where you're most comfortable with at nickel in terms of passing situations? Just kind of talking about the explosive plays right now.
Yeah, you know, a Jumper and Barry. You know, Jumper's played at a pretty good level. I mean, you guys, again, I keep coming back and saying every time we all start to doubt him, he makes plays. I mean, the guy makes plays, and what he really does, he's like a coach on the field too. He does a good job with regard to getting the group lined up and settling the team down. And we haven't, honestly, other than maybe Florida, we haven't really faced a traditional offense. UMass was so much unorthodox formation and things like that. He did a good job. Barry made some good plays the other day. I think he had a sack, and I think he had a nice play on a screen pass. And like I said, Sapp's coming back from injury. So, I mean, you know, between those 3 guys, I really feel very, very confident. And Batuli's gone back and forth between the Sam and the Mike, depending on what personnel grouping we're in. And he you know, he flashed again. I think probably his best game was the first game of the year. But it's not like he's played poorly since then.
Just in general, how do you feel about the way your pass rush has gone this kind of first year post Barnett?
Yeah, well, yeah, to that point, I mean, you know, not just Barnett, but Vereen, you know, was probably the next best pass rusher, maybe LaTroy. We've had to find creative ways to rush the passer. I mean, we had several pressures the other day, and we thought we had a pretty good beat on their protection, and we're pretty aggressive. You know, Rashawn Golden's one of our more productive players, so we like to blitz with. He's a very good blitzer. Jumper really did a good job as pass blitzer the other day, and Barry did too. But DT, Kongbo, and Phillips all have the knack for getting to the quarterback, and on 3rd down, we either have to be creative with what we call or find a way to put our best pass rushers in the game for that situation.
What about Shaq Wiggins? Your thoughts on
Yeah, he did good the other day. Shaq had a pass breakup, and I know it's been a tough transition for Shaq. You come in with high expectations and you get hurt in camp, and then things really don't go your way for the first couple games. And he sat down and talked with Charlton last week, and Charlton's done a really good job managing him and expectations, and he played, I think, over half the plays the other day, and had a nice pass breakup, had a nice tackle on a reverse, and he's going to continue to play and be part of the rotation. Him, Emmanuel, and Justin.
You mentioned Matuli. How much has he progressed in kind of, like you said, being able to line up guys and everything?
Yeah, that's still just a part of his game that he's continuing to grow at. I mean, there's no question he's a playmaker, and it's hard sometimes as the middle linebacker because you're responsible for setting the front and kind of calling the signals of the defense. I think when he didn't play that position in the not the bowl game, but the opening game of the year, he's able to kind of play without thinking. Sometimes, if he ever has a problem, it's that his brain probably ties up his feet a little bit sometimes. But he's certainly a very good player, a very diligent worker, and has an extremely bright future.
Given what you said about their backs and Isaac Nauta and their receivers, where does their overall skill compare to what you've seen in your entire career?
Obviously I played against Georgia at a lot of different places. I feel weird, like I've played against them as much as any team that I've ever coached against, at Vanderbilt, at Penn State. Heck, when I was a secondary coach at BC, we played in the Music City Bowl. I think it's the best Georgia team I've seen. I think they're, which doesn't mean we can't win the game. It just means we do on Tuesdays we do a who can help us, who can hurt us, meaning who can help us, who are the weaknesses, who can hurt us, who are their players who are really good, and I was hard pressed to find a whole lot of who can hurt us. And I think Coach Pittman and I think Coach Chaney, really have a good plan right now. They are very balanced in the things that they're doing, and the quarterback's other than the fact that he's just this will be his first SEC road game. We got to get Nealon rocking on Saturday. We got to introduce him to what road SEC football is all about.
What are your initial thoughts on Fromm? What have you seen?
Oh, he's really good. There's so many good young quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, and he's right up there with any of them. He's very composed. He's a guy who played in the Little League World Series. That's kind of cool too. I mean, seems like he's a winner. As I said to someone, I was watching the film the other day, and I remember when I first got into the league, Aaron Murray was the quarterback for Georgia, and I thought he was smooth and could do it all. And they're a different type of athlete, I get, but I saw him as 11. I said, damn, he looks. That's what he looked like. He finds the right receivers. He makes good decisions, and what we really need to do is we need to get these guys into third and long, and then try to create some confusion and chaos in his mind, and get, like I said, get the 12th man going in Neyland Stadium.
They're starting Isaiah Wynn at left tackle, 6'2" guy, been playing left guard. How do you combat that? A guard playing left tackle? Is there certain things you can do to take advantage of his
He's their
lack
best
of length?
player, though. Yeah, I know he's not real tall and long, but he's probably their best offensive lineman. Their offensive line, I think, is the most. I want to be careful how I say it because I mean this as a compliment. I think their offensive line's really improved a lot from last year. They're working well together in protection. They're working well together in the run game. Those guys have done an excellent job, and as I said, they're obviously very, very well coached, and their run game is sophisticated as anybody's run game that will play against. Whether it's two-back run, whether it's zone read, whether it's split zone, whether it's wildcat, they've got a lot of things that we're going to have to deal with on Saturday. I'll answer one more for you.
Austin Smith, is he back out now?
He was out there today. I mean, Austin's working hard to get back out there. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be ready this week. He's running on the side a little bit and start to do some individual. But if we can get through this week and then the open week, it'd be nice to have him back for South Carolina.